Hello, hello, hello. Once again, this is Rope Break, wrestling podcast. I'm Alex, and I'm here with a fan of yesteryear, a good friend of mine. His name is Sam. Sam, how are you today,
What's
boss?
going on, man? I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
I'm here. I'm here. Just want to say before we start, we had the untimely passing of the biggest icon in wrestling in my
Yeah,
eyes,
we did.
Hulk Hogan. I know he's a controversial figure, but I think if we look at professional wrestling, there you go. We have to say a thing. Is there anything you would like to say? Your thoughts on the professional wrestling career, not the man Terry Bollea, but the professional wrestling career of Hollywood Hulk Hogan?
Man, it's one of the most profound individuals in wrestling that we got. And and
Yes, sir.
and if you are a wrestling fan in any form, if those words don't come out your mouth, you know, you ain't a wrestling fan. You're not a wrestling fan by far.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is the man. He is the icon. With the 22-inch pythons. You know what I'm saying? That's the guy. So he's made a feat within wrestling that people that came before and after him lived through because of his accolades. So there's not a wrestler today who can move forward who's in wrestling now if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan.
Yes, sir. Well said. Well said. But let's get to the point at hand. Sir, you are a wrestling fan. You do not watch wrestling currently at the current product right now. But my question to you is first question is, what's your first memory of professional wrestling?
Ooh wee. Ooh, what would that be, man? My very first memory. Trying to think what that would be. There's so many. Every trying to think when I had even came up trying to figure out things. What would that be? Uh, it had to be one of the rematches from the '79 match of Hogan and Giant when I first seen him slam Andre. That
I can
was
definitely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was probably the first time I think I probably encountered anything of wrestling in general that then moved forward. Because the thing is, even like this even back on Hulk Hogan, you know, I remember me having toys of him in my house, and I didn't even know what wrestling was. Like I didn't know what like Iron Sheik, all these toys in my house, and I'm like, who are these
The
niggas?
big LG and rubber
Yeah,
toys
yeah,
that no one knew
yeah,
what they
yeah,
were.
yeah. They just stuck that way. They didn't
They
even
just
move. They just had their arms.
one pose flex. That was your pose.
Sure was. You know what I'm saying? So, but that was probably my first, um, you know, moments of me, seeing that. But yeah,
Can definitely see that. So, with that being said, of all time, who is your favorite wrestler?
I don't want to be like the cliche person, man, and I know I'm not. I gotta go with the Heartbreak Kid, man.
Shawn Michaels. See that threw me off. I thought you were gonna say Stone Cold Steve Austin. I
But
thought
but
you were
but
gonna say
but I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That's where it becomes hard. I mean, of course, I'm all about all that. Give me the beer, I grab. I'm all for that. That's my guy. But but Sean just hit different.
I can see
Sean,
it. I can
Sean
see it.
just hit different for me. Like I mean, Stone Cold overall was probably like everybody's fan. During late '90s, early 2000s. Not you. I know it ain't you.
I say
I
no.
know it.
He
I
wasn't
know
my
it ain't
guy. I'm
you.
sorry.
I know
He
it
wasn't
ain't
my
you.
guy.
But I mean, from wrestlers looking at the matches that we know about, I mean, his match within itself you know, is one of the him and Bret Hart. It, it was fucked up. but
Well,
but but that match is infamous, especially at WrestleMania. What is 12?
hmm
Yeah, yeah, I
Yes, it
mean,
was.
you can't. Phenomenal.
I completely agree with you. I completely
Hmm.
agree with you. I was shocked by the Shawn Michaels, but because I
Yeah,
know how you feel about Stone Cold Steve Austin and the recently
yeah,
retired Bill Goldberg.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Go, my
but
God.
Shawn Michaels is definitely a solid charge choice, which
Hmm.
definitely he is the man that a lot of the people that wrestle today, the smaller wrestlers anyway, they always go towards Sean because he was probably the best worker they had in
Yeah,
at the time, especially of us growing up as a kid. I can't take that away from him that he was the best in ring performer probably of all time in mainstream WWE. So,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
so now, so since your favorite wrestler is Shawn Michaels, this leads to this question: why, with him having the large influence that he has right now, why don't you watch wrestling at the current product that is presented, whether it's WWE, AEW, TNA, or ROH, or any of the other promotions?
I think the I think the rawness of it is just completely different than us coming up. I think wrestling has went towards a more commercialized um, aspect within the audience to be more kid friendly, you know, climate demographic driven. So they're starting to accommodate to the more popular things outside of wrestling, and they're bringing it in. It's too scripted for me. Like, I mean,
Definitely
I
said.
love all the dynamics. I mean, I love everything. I love the dynamic movement, but I think we're doing too much of it. I think a lot of stuff has just been watered down. Like, I want to see the pay per view where it's unrated. You know what I'm saying? I want to see just the whole rawness attitude of these characters. Now we're bleeping everything out. Like, I feel like a lot of it is just, it's catering to the world, and everybody's within like these woke movements, of sensitizing everything and censoring everything and canceling everything. So they're like being careful with what they do and say. And I think that's super duper trash. But yet, when The Rock comes and visits every year for whatever reason he's coming back, he can say the B word and A word here and say little things in and out. They're not going to. They're not going to cut him off.
Oh no.
They will never do that. You know what I mean? So, but that's my point. Like, because of his placement and what he was, you can't you can't uh mute him. He's the reason why we are we are between the Raw era, SmackDown era, the whole nine. Like, these things were uncut, unadulterated things that we fell on that was just hardcore, which adopted everything at the time from like, ACW and all the stuff that we grew up on,
Hmm.
within wrestling, from between that and WCW and everything. That stuff was uncut back then, man. I mean, it was uncut. It was raw. We ain't got that no more. Not like that. You
The mat is covered in advertisements. Slim Jim. Slim Jim has tables.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, they have the Slim Jim table gets pulled out from under the ring now, not just a plain table. It's
hmm
marketing. They had a fireball ladder the last time at
yeah,
Money in the Bank. So marketing is everywhere. It's definitely very commercial. So I definitely see uh why you say that. But we also have alternatives that are not as commercial, such as AEW, where you know uh John Moxley bleeds heavily every week, pools of
yeah,
blood, gets dumped on nails, and the nails are sticking out of his back.
yeah,
um you know there was a hypodermic needle put in a man's mouth, and then he got hit with a
mm,
chair.
yeah, yeah,
uh
yeah.
and so I mean, AEW and Tony Khan are trying to stray away from that because he privately owns it. He's not looking for investors, unlike TKO and the WWE.
Yeah. I think the corporate influence though is a bigger problem though, because it's allowing the presentation to be less authentic from the wrestler standpoint.
Yes.
Everything that we had because everything at a point in time, even when it came to like the female wrestlers, the female wrestlers today is more sexualized than they were then. But then we might watch the pay per view where we might get the nip slip. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, or something else, like, from Jacqueline to Sable to the ninth one in the world. Like, these women were athletes, like, could bench past their body weight type dig. They were wrestling for real. You know what I'm saying? With the exceptions of like the Nitro girls and other things, that was there at the time to kind of bring up that morale with the men watching. But it was still, there was a story behind everything that was so authentic, was worth like everything was just it was just complete it's just completely different than what it is now. I don't think all the wrestlers today have that much charisma as the wrestlers that were within our time coming up, not just from the late '80s, the '90s, early 2000s, within the eras that came that brought in that whole attitude within the Attitude Era, Raw, SmackDown, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know if you remember, I was more of a WCW fan. I was a WWF fan,
Yeah,
but they started to migrate things back and forth. And then wrestlers across the back and forth between what was going on with the production with Ted Turner and then with Vince McMahon. Like everything was just raw back then, man. It was completely raw back then. Nobody
it
cared.
was more. That's true. It was more of the Wild Wild West. There was
I
a lot more
loved it.
undercutting. It was,
Yeah.
but also I feel the WWE WWF. Let's not lie, it was WWF then. WWF had a reason to do stuff out of the box, and they had a
Mhm.
reason to be hardcore. Just because the WCW product was really just raw. There was a
Mhm.
point when people didn't know that they thought wrestling became real again because the outsiders came in, Hall
Yeah.
and Nash, and then Hogan turned heel, and
Loved
that
it.
to me that's what kicked off the boom of wrestling. It wasn't Austin 316. It was, oh, Hulk Hogan's a bad guy. He's wearing black and he's beating
Mhm.
up people with baseball bats and spray painting them. But there you go, NWO for life.
Mhm.
You there's no way you can have that now with the internet the way it is right now, due to the simple fact that if anybody's contract's over, we already know it. It's on Twitter. Oh, they have 6 months left on their contract, and they're negotiating with AEW to
Mhm.
make this much money.
Yeah.
Even with there's no the realness that was there, and the uncertainty within professional wrestling is all gone.
Yeah. 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 It's and I wonder why that is like it now too because it's just being abused. Like again, I don't dislike. I mean, when it comes down to profit and revenue gain, I get it. Wrestling right now is more polished and child oriented. I get that. I understand that, but it's diving too much into it for my taste. Because again, when it comes down to them building on a brand, I get it. Kids sell. That's why Disney lasts forever. I understand that. If anything within business, I get it. But it's made it less risque and more polished presentation when it comes down to wrestling, so kids could more so adhere to it. And it's just kind of
That's
like,
true.
well, but when you look at the audience, these kids ain't everywhere in there. It's
No, no,
people,
it's
it's
it's it's
people
it's
our age,
majority old men,
but it's
old
majority
people.
our age and a little younger, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on, man. The things that they would do when we're there isn't the same for which we see on the television. And I'm like, I understand this. I'm like when I look at wrestling now, there really isn't anything now, really the wrestling today, like now, make me be like, oh, I'm a fan. I can't see it. I
I
can't
see that.
see it. I can't see it. I don't see like, you know, American males with Buff Bagwell, and I don't see the Steiner Bros and Steve Blackman and Ahmed Johnson, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't. Where are they at? What Lashley? Like, where are these people at, man? Like the
Well,
people that we had is, I'm just saying.
I can say Bobby Lashley is wrestling,
I will say that.
and he's in AEW, and he's a tag team champion with Shelton Benjamin. But
I like Shelton. I
and
like
and and
Shelton.
him, so he's still. I mean, but also WWE itself has been under fire because they feel that Triple H cannot book black men.
Why do you think that is?
Triple H didn't book. Hey, I don't. Triple H not a black man. How you gonna book him? But you know, but no. But other than that, just dumbass response. I truly
Yeah.
believe that I feel they're booking Samoans as black men, right?
Yeah, they playing the culture stuff.
So, but I know if you book a black man as a black man, a lot of people might feel that they're stereotyping the black man to be black.
Hmm. Yep.
So I feel like it's a fine line to play. You get what I'm saying? Like we don't want to be accused of making the black man into the N word because
Hmm.
that's what people are gonna say. Why you gotta make him look like he's an N word? He's just a black man. But you got the
It's
Samoans
wow.
that can be a N. They could the Samoans can act like an N word, but you ain't gonna say
Hmm.
nothing because they not black. They Samoan.
Yeah, yeah. It's getting weird. It's
Yeah.
getting weird. But there's a lot of who's your one boy? I seen him. I think he's on. What is he on? Is he on next? I don't know who's he on. He's got the he spits like black shit out of his mouth. But he's now he. I don't think he does that now on the show, but he did when he was on the other wrestling gig. Skinny black dude, short. He's very dynamic of a wrestler. He transforms like this little demonic wrestling type thing.
Oh, okay. He's talking about Leo Rush.
There you go. Yeah,
Oh yeah, so see, Leo's on AEW, and Leo
yeah,
don't do it
yeah.
no more. Leo does that when he's on the Indies. Leo would be over, I think. But I think because he is small,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't want to book him in a strong position. But I love Leo. I think he's a great talker. He's a great worker.
Mm.
I know you were a big Rey Mysterio fan growing up.
Yeah, of
He,
course.
I feel like he's about Rey Mysterio's size when Rey Mysterio was young,
Yeah.
and
It's what it look like. Yeah.
he definitely has that type of style of wrestling, and he can talk. I don't think Ray couldn't really talk when he was young. He was
No.
just cool. It was just like good to see this man do little flips, and he had the mask, and then when he took the mask off,
Hmm.
he looked like a child, so it was
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But with Leo, Leo has swag. Leo has the dark side, but with the dark side he doesn't display on the AEW because AEW that's not his character. But he
Hmm.
also kind of took that from Finn Balor because he has the same
Hmm.
deal too. So I see that, but there's definitely some things. I feel like everyone says that AEW books black wrestlers as black wrestlers,
Hmm.
and WWE does not. But I feel like WWE is doing more of a marketing strategy to where we don't want any kind of backlash
Hmm.
from anyone
Hmm.
because we're trying to be PG. We're trying to make everybody happy. Where AEW is like we don't really care. AEW was actually under fire because not to just harp on my favorite wrestler, but they were under fire because they did not at first want to say anything about Hulk Hogan dying because Hulk Hogan was a racist, right?
Yeah.
And everybody they were under fire on Twitter for both. So on one hand, people were saying, "Hey, you said you were never going to put him on the show, so continue to be that way. Don't talk about him." And then on the other hand, they
Hmm.
was like, he still kind of made wrestling, so it's kind of disrespectful not to. You don't got to do a 10 bell salute, but you should at least have somebody
Yeah.
say, "Hey, Hulk Hogan's dead. Condolences to the family." Something. They eventually did yesterday. They eventually did have Tony Schiavone, who works for the company, come out and say, "I've known Hulk Hogan." Obviously, Tony Schiavone knows Hulk Hogan. He
Yeah.
worked for
Hmm.
WCW. He worked for WWF. Tony Schiavone's old as dirt. Love you, Tony Schiavone. But
Yeah. Yeah.
they had him do just a short word on air, but they didn't do anything publicly in the arena. Which
Hmm.
is, I'm like, I guess that's fine. They didn't even boo on WWE when they did it, and even though they booed the last time he was on he was alive and on Raw.
Yeah.
But that was national news. I know you had to see
Oh
that one
yeah.
because
Yeah.
that was on the news that he got
Yeah. But didn't even. Here's my thing though, because they putting so much heat on Hulk Hogan, but I'm like, I feel like they're doing that simply because of who he is. Like,
because he's Hogan.
yeah. I mean, wasn't JBL at a point in time on some old Nazi shit?
Not in real life, but on on the on the screen, yeah. I mean, I
Oh,
think
okay.
his best friend probably would have beat him up, which was Ron Simmons. I think Ron Simmons
Yeah. Ron would threw him to
would have
pieces.
spiked him to hell. But I mean, I think if we're gonna just be honest about, I feel like me as a person who's a wrestling fan, if you want to bring race into it, I can't watch wrestling at all because there's always some. I can just say they made the one man gang into a black man, and they said he was the African dream, and he was really a 400-pound white man. You know, Dusty Rhodes acted like he was black for years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You
Like
you
he
know
was a whole country. Yeah, 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 yeah.
you know
Slave master owner. Like that's what he talked
yeah.
like. Southern.
So I feel
Uh,
like if I'm gonna bring the race part into, I can't watch wrestling at all.
well, yeah, because well, the attitude sells. I mean,
Yeah.
and they that whole attitude it created a dynamic between people like Stone Cold, who was like the I don't give a shit redneck,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, to like John Cena, who was the white rapper,
Yeah.
you know, to whatever else came in that played those stereotypes. I mean, I think the characters, as I think I think the characters overall played a big role in the development of wrestling. Like what wrestler today do you know puts on? I mean, I'm not saying there isn't any, but like what wrestlers today are putting on the gimmicks that's like completely opposite to who they are today. Here's an example, like Triple H being Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yeah. You
Like
don't see stuff like that anymore.
yeah, that was like where they like where are these guys at? Like the characters were there, the Papa Shangos, you know what I'm saying? Like the people that put on the character, you know what I'm saying? Steve Austin is like that in real life.
Exactly. Well, he drinks beers, rides ATVs.
Yeah, that's his
You know,
thing. Yeah,
that's his real life.
when we got Stunning Steve, it wasn't that guy.
Yeah,
It
that
was
wasn't him.
no, he was like, I can't do this. He had to go and change
Yeah.
it. He had to be who he is, So I mean, same thing with The Rock. They're like, man, he came in just wanting to represent the family. He's like, I got to bring in my actual personality in here, and he did, and he played a heel so good, like to the point to where his heelish ways was made him an actual, an actual great character. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Well, I mean, you do bad so good, people start to cheer you.
yeah, that was it. Like so. But I mean, I look at things today, and I look at the wrestlers today, especially on the black side. I feel like we're not doing ourselves a good service of presenting um ourselves in the wrestling because I look at a lot of stuff that we do. We got like what's the group's name? I know there was NXT, Street Profits.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I
They were
mean,
recently the tag team champions. They
yeah,
lost the
yeah,
titles.
yeah, yeah. I mean, 100% stereotype of
Yes,
our
I
of our
agree. I
own
agree.
of our own people. Um, you know,
But
who
no
else we
worse
gotta
than
say?
Crime Time like they were back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Crime Time
goodness
was far
gracious.
worse than the Street Profits.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's. I think we look at a lot of stuff. Even your boy today, like, I like him though. I like him for what's his name? He's probably got the best song in wrestling right now. What's his name? The whoop that trick.
Oh, Trick
Tricky
Williams,
Williams.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I don't even gotta like the dude. Like I just like the music.
It's the thing's hype, but Booker T's there also doing ad libs to the
Yeah,
song.
what?
So
Yeah. What?
yeah,
Yeah,
man,
yeah, man.
that
Like
trick,
yeah,
yeah,
that kid. Yeah, he's black and he's doing everything. And I mean, it's
everything
just
super black.
everything's super black, and that's what I don't like. I mean, it ain't got. I feel like you don't have to bring forth the character that defines the stereotype of your race. You don't got to do that. You can just be something. I mean, Truth did it. Your people did it. He was
Yeah.
he was. I've seen him off screen. Say some. I've seen him out. He could talk.
Oh yeah, but he's also had a character change where he's not goofy anymore. He cut his dreads off. He cut his dreadlocks off,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
and now he's just going by Ron Killings
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah. I
last
mean,
few.
yeah. I mean,
But this
I
is
see.
I
Yeah,
assume this is his last year doing this anyway because
yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I seen
he's
him.
in his mid 50s. He
Yeah, yeah,
you don't
man.
need a reason to do it.
What podcast was it on? He came. He was cussing out somebody. Who was it? It was one of the Dudleys.
He,
Whose Dudley was it?
it was the Dudleys. It was Bubba. He was
Bubba.
on
Yeah,
he was on Busted Open. He was on Busted Open. I saw that.
he went in.
Hmm.
You
He
know what
was
I'm
he was
saying?
he was on Bubba.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that. I remember catching that. But I mean, like, yeah, man. I mean, outside of people like like Ricochet, you know,
Kentucky's
Bianca
own
Belair. Yeah, yeah,
Ricochet.
yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Bianca Belair. I like
Yeah.
I like those folks. You know what I'm saying?
But
But
I do
like,
have to say this about Bianca. Bianca's old character in NXT was very like hood ghetto Cardi B type girl.
yeah, 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 yeah.
it changed as they saw that little girls wanted to be like her and she was marketable. So then they'd be like, "I'll just be yourself. You don't got to be that ratchet."
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, my favorite female black right now is Jade. I'm a
But
Jade fan.
Jade is just a big, muscular, pretty girl. You know,
Yeah.
but I'm still an old school Naomi guy myself because Naomi's been there through it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not
She
against.
been there.
I'm not
She been
against
there through
Naomi
it.
at all. Yeah, I'm not against. I like Naomi. I ain't gonna lie. She's with it. But yeah, like yeah, man. Like I just when I look at the '90s, early 2000s, you know, like I miss my Lex Luthers, my Ted DiBiase's,
Luther
Hawks.
can't walk, so
But he
goddamn.
can't walk. I mean, he stood up though for Ed Ward, but he can't walk.
He did.
You
He
know, you
stanky
know,
DDP.
Rick Rude, Sid, Tanaka. You know, these are the things. The whole Hart family. I wasn't a big Jim fan, but the Hart family, Steamboat. Like these are the
Leave Jim alone.
people. Yeah, you're right. But these are the people who we came up on that had a type of charisma that just sold it. And I feel like a lot of times it's just they doing a whole lot of things within these scripts to try to sell something, and I think they just kind of overly do it.
I can definitely see that. I can
That
definitely. So
that's where I'm at.
my question to you ultimately is this: is there any way? I mean, I know there's a way, but what would they have to do to bring you yourself, Sam, back into the fold of watching wrestling on a weekly basis?
Wait,
Yes, I know you're not a child or you're a grown man, but you TiVo, DVR, all these other things that we streaming services, obviously, because most wrestling's on the stream.
well, the thing is, I don't want to. I don't. The thing is with me, I don't want to have to go back because if anything with wrestling now, I would be going back, man, and just rewatching my childhood. I'll be. But here's the thing: as an adult, I would appreciate it more as an adult watching my childhood because the things we watched as a child was based on the action that we seen. But as an adult, I can see everything and the underlining tones and stuff like that presented. As an adult, I'd be like, man, that's hard. That was dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That we didn't fully get a chance to grasp. Coming up. But now I feel like if I was to do that and then go into the era that is now, I feel like I would lose. I would more so be able to catch where I'm losing it. I just feel as if today, I feel as if they need to just bring that uncutness back. I just miss it. I miss
So
it
the
all.
true rawness of professional
I
wrestling
miss
is
it
what you.
all. I miss it all. I don't care about the razor blade foreheads and that. I don't care about none of that. It's just more so of what all came with it, man. Like the blood, sweat, and tears these folks was putting into it was just, it was undeniable. We felt that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really isn't a wrestler. They'd be like, yeah, that's my favorite wrestler today. Like, I don't know where that person is. You know what I'm saying? I became a real big Batista fan at a point, you know what I'm saying? And then when he dipped, I was like, okay. And I like Randy, but again, the point that he did come in, I loved his rawness, but now it's just more commercialized. But I mean, I would like to just see that true uncut, wrestling to come back. That's what I would want. That's what would make me be like, you know what? I'm back as a fan. You got me.
I can definitely see that. But I do have a question. There is rawness. WWE has recently started firing people that showed real rawness. Mandy Rose, I don't know if you're familiar with Mandy
Yeah, yeah,
Rose.
yep, yep. Sure am.
But a few years ago, Mandy Rose was in the WWE and she was had a hot run on NXT, became NXT champion. She redid her whole character, became
Mm-hmm.
more sexualized. The character became sexualized because Vince McMahon told her she was too sexy to be on. Your camera went out, sir. But
We're gonna fix it.
all right, there you go. But she said the Vince McMahon has stated that she was far too sexy to be on the main show, and she needed. But then she went down to NXT and became an
Crazy.
even sexier. She became an even sexier character. So then that also prompted her to start an OnlyFans. Now during her OnlyFans, they saw her in the pool, and there was a boob. It was just breast. You didn't see anything else, but her breasts were in the water. She thought that was good enough, so you didn't see. It wasn't like a full frontal, but if you did like that and
Mm-hmm.
in water, you can still see a nipple.
Mm.
So she was promptly fired. And they told her, later on, it was because we have a deal with Mattel, and obviously, I'm a Mattel guy. I have toys behind me, and there's He-Man all to my left. So obviously,
He-Man.
exactly. But there's obviously I'm a Mattel person. But they said Mattel wouldn't like if one of their superstars was naked, and they promptly fired her. And now she's a multimillionaire because she does everything on it. She just shows full frontals on OnlyFans now. Um, and there's a lot of women that they have recently fired, and she put it out there online to say, hey, if you looking for a job, come hook up with me. We gonna make money together. In other words, you can all me up on OnlyFans, and you'll make more money in one day than I did in a whole month as being a professional wrestler, which she said
Mm-hmm.
she has made.
Yeah, makes sense.
With that being said, how do you feel about the way that the WWE, and just not all of wrestling, not, I would say probably not TNA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about AEW and what their stance are on women that have OnlyFans, but I know a couple of wrestlers that I've met in the gym that have went to there now, and they have had OnlyFans in the past and probably still do. They probably don't do as much stuff as they did before they got signed.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you feel about the WWE censoring their product to the point where they don't want people to even have any kind of outside profit that could make them look bad, or defamation to the WWE's character?
Well, I will say this: when let me go get back into the light here. Um, when you when you represent something, when you represent
Hmm.
an entity that has a particular standard,
Hmm.
um, you have to abide by the outlook and the upfront representation of said company. That's any place. They have a morality and standards that they go by. If it was not for the WWE, she would not be a millionaire.
Hmm.
And that's
That's true.
because her fan base and her following came from what the WWE put into her. So she should be very thankful that she is able to make more money outside of Vince McMahon's dollars and anything else that comes from that company and corporation and the shareholders because of what they invested in her to even gain the fame. But I don't think there's anything wrong with people making their money outside of it. But I will say, when it comes down to using a likeness that is owned, this is just general business in general. If you are going to do something utilizing something that does not solely belong to you and it solely belongs to a corporation when it comes down to image and likenesses, you making money that does not profit the company, yet you're utilizing what the company is giving to you, you are violating. But if she wants to go out and be her normal self outside of her moniker and she wants to model and do things, she just needs to make sure she's doing it into an appropriate manner. But she knew good and well that showing part of a boob would she thinking if she has to tell herself like, oh, this is nothing. They're not gonna get mad at a little boob, a little nip out here. They're not gonna get bothered by that. No. Of course they are. Because you knew that you had to be risque to sell it. Nobody's out here just buying. They could do that at WWE. They can buy your posters. They can see you. But you're giving them everything that we're imagining underneath the costume, and you're selling it based on what you have gained from the corporation that pretty much owns your moniker. So yeah, like people like Mattel and whatever else that is representing for children, um, yeah, they're going to fire you, and you're going to lose endorsements because they're not going to lose money because you're stupid.
Of course.
I get that across the board. I don't knock them for that decision. You can't be that. It's the same thing with doctors' offices and any other professional out here. If you're going to represent something, you have to represent them to the full core and dignity and representation of what they are and their mission from A to Z. If you are not that person, then you need to leave, because as soon as you do something that's out of order and you get caught, that's it for you. You can't sit here and be a children's doctor and then you're out here doing fellatio on OnlyFans at night.
Oh damn. Okay. Went left on that one, boss. But all right.
I'm just saying, like you can't do that. You can't then go back. All right, I'm here today to save some children. You can't do that, So no, you need to figure out a way outside to do something else in a respectable manner. But now, because she has no restraints, she's now taking that following with her, and she's like, now, because it's about money for her, obviously.
Of
It has to
course.
be, yeah, yeah. So now she's like, I'm about to put all morality aside. Now I ain't got to worry about Mattel. I'm about to show all this goodies. So yeah, she's making her bank.
Okay. And with that being said, how do you feel about them pretty much wanting Vince McMahon out of the WWE and TKO?
You know.
And now that he's gone, due to his, I mean, we don't have to discuss what we
Yeah,
all
we
know.
know what he did. We know what's in. We know what he did.
We know.
Again, um, you can't do things that's going to misrepresent something that's going to possibly diminish or tarnish a name or decrease revenue. People ain't with that. You're not going to have these investors and stakeholders and partnerships, and they all, no, man. They're going to Harvey Weinstein. You got to go. You can't. We can't stand behind this guy, man. I got $1 billion invested. No, I got partners who got partners who got partners who know I partner with this guy. Man, they're gonna leave me alone. That's just the ultimatum. You got to go. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, when it comes down to men in general, the unfortunate side of it is that you're going to be scrutinized until proven innocent. Unfortunately, you guilty ASF. So you gotta go, G.
Vince and
You
Diddy are in the
know,
same boat now.
yeah. I mean, you can't. I mean, again, but again, when it comes down to the guys, they're gonna deal with it anyway. That's just how they do men.
Yeah,
Johnny Depp
that's
dealt
true.
with it until it was over
He
with,
was
and
proven
everybody
innocent.
apologized. Yeah,
Yeah,
he lost
everybody said
movie
to be
deals and
sorry.
everything until
That's true.
until they apologized. Like, my bad, bro. We didn't even know. Yeah, you did. I told you.
That's true.
It's
That's true.
crazy what's going on. But
But with that being said, do you feel that Vince McMahon will be proven innocent, or do you think he will settle out of court? Because she wants to go, he wants to settle.
man, he better just settle. I mean,
She don't want to settle. She doesn't want
I
the
mean,
money.
she doesn't want the money.
No, she wants
She's going.
Vince's head.
She's going to get some anyway.
She knows that. She wants him to suffer as well. She doesn't just want money. She wants him to go to prison. And Vince is like 78 years old, 79
Yeah,
years
he's
old.
not. He's not. He's going to be in the hospital before they even put him in the truck.
You know, I was like, yeah, he probably died before that, buddy.
That's crazy. I mean, the man ain't even. I mean, he needs to just. I get it, but I mean, you need to just settle, fam. She needs
Like I
to.
said,
I
he's trying
mean,
to settle. It's her people like, nah, we ain't settling nothing.
he probably just ain't settled not the right money yet. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to the professional side of things, if she, these attorneys are going to eat off of whatever they put her up in.
Hmm.
They're going to be like, "Hey, man, we representing you. This man is offering X, Y, and Z. We're getting a cut of this, ma'am. You need to settle, because if you go to court, this might not end the way that you think it might go." So yeah, like,
I mean, obviously, he could also stretch it out until he dies. I mean, granted, his mama
oh
lived till she
yeah,
was like 100 years old, but I mean,
yeah,
he
yeah,
only got
yeah,
another. He ain't got too long. I mean, he could stretch it out for 20 years. He got enough.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like he, I mean, she better figure out something. I don't
Hey,
know.
we don't know. So overall, you feel that the landscape of professional wrestling is watered down, uh, nothing's raw, and it's overly commercialized, and that has pretty much taken you out of professional wrestling. My question to you is: are you just talking about the WWE, or have you looked at any other companies such as AEW, TNA, or GCW, or even Billy Corgan's company, the NWA?
NWA. Yeah, I feel like they don't have much stipulation because they don't really have much more. Um, they have more landscape to play with, which I'm pretty sure you know that they have a lot more. I mean,
Yeah.
WWE is the staple of it's the face of right. It's the
WWE is.
face.
There's so many people in
It's
this world that don't say wrestling; they say
yeah,
WWE.
WWE.
They
You know what
don't
I'm
know anything
saying?
else.
Yeah. You know, you say mixed martial arts, you say UFC. You know,
Yeah.
it's certain staples that go to things. You know, so they they're not under the gun like that. So yeah, they're able to have a more polished storyline. They're able to do more things. To be more raw and aggressive with their characters and what they're and how they just interact. Because again, a lot of it, man, it's almost a lot of it was just really natural with how people were reacting and everything else. Yeah, I think mainly it just seems like the branches, or even just with WWE, I feel like a lot of it is just simply it's really reserved, while trying to bring in the action standpoint with things.
That's true. I definitely see that. I don't think there's any argument there from anyone else that has definitely watched wrestling during our era of youth of watching wrestling. Especially, I can say just from my own personal standpoint, if I never really stopped watching wrestling, but I can say that it was a definite turn in professional wrestling once the WWE became a publicly traded company,
Yeah,
and it wasn't just owned
that's
by Vince McMahon.
that's where you get ugly. When you start
And
once you start dipping into the corporate venture of allowing other stakeholders to come in, which now holds a part of control of how you operate in order for the revenue to grow, that changes the dynamic and fundamentals and foundations of how the companies operate. So
very true.
they're like, hey, there's more money here, so let's change this here. Let's change everything around. Let's get rid of Nitro Girls. Let's let's get rid of certain little things. But the nature, but things are changing now. Oh, we need more black ones because the BBLs and the thicknesses is in. But let's not get anybody with this. Let's just try to go find some thicker women and bring them in, and then let's put yeah, bro. Which again,
That's
as a
true.
man, I'm not complaining. As a man,
Of
I
course, of
am
course.
not complaining. But the whole point is that they're following along with the things that are popular within the social conform. And that's what takes away from what they are built on because they're following what everybody else wants instead of doing whatever the F they want to do, which
Hmm.
makes them unique in the freaking first place. Because now
That's true.
everybody is doing what they did at the beginning because they ain't got no overhead like that. They're okay.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody coming and be like, hey man, calm this down. We're losing money. No, no. You got the parents and kids talking about, no, I'm a Hulkamania. No, we don't need to have this in here. That's what they're doing. The moms is upset and everything, and
That's
it's
true.
stupid.
That's true. But I mean, they've recently brought in Jelly Roll. I know you're in the music industry, so I know you know who
Yeah,
Jelly Roll is.
yeah.
They this past WrestleMania, they had Travis Scott interfere with the main event. He came out instead of The Rock and screwed Cody Rhodes out of retaining the WWE Championship against
hmm
John Cena. They had that, and then of course they just recently fell out with Travis Scott because they felt like he didn't want to give all to being a professional wrestler like he said he was going to.
You gotta see what.
Just
Jelly.
look at the person.
You gotta look at the person.
Look at the person.
it's not when you bring in, Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
You
an
know what I'm
already
saying?
athlete, a professional athlete.
Yeah,
Might not be a wrestler, but he's
it
a
might not be a
professional.
wrestler, but we're talking about a very well known individual at the time, and you're bringing in people that everybody may or may not know, but because of who he is and the stature of his name, you're bringing him in. Everybody don't know who Travis Scott is.
I can tell you this: I didn't know who he was.
That's what I'm saying. But everybody know who Jelly Roll is. Yeah, it's cool. That was a nice little gimmick, and especially when he went to was it Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did the
He
choke
pretty.
slam
I
on
mean,
Logan Paul.
that was a really good choke slam.
Another
I'm not
one.
going.
Yeah.
That was a really good choke slam. Not going.
Yeah.
And I like Logan. I like Logan because he acts like he should have been in the '90s.
Yeah. He definitely
Everything
has
around him
that.
is wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Everything about him, he don't care. Like, bro, he is another Rock. He's another Razor Ramon. You know, he's any Horseman, any NWI, and he's all of that, all the above. He's Triple H back then. He's smacking people in the face. Like, bro, like I like dude. And what makes it more interesting is that Hogan ain't. I mean, Hogan. Logan ain't gotta. This how you know it's not for money from him. He ain't gotta wrestle. If it's about money, he
No, he
ain't
doesn't
gotta
have
do
to.
it. He ain't gotta
No.
do it. He
He's rich enough.
loves it.
Yeah.
He loves to do it. He loves wrestling. That's how you know he's authentic. Everything he does is making me be like, "Hey, bro, I like this. I like this guy, man. He's all right." Like his attitude and everything. That's his personality in general. I'm seeing him on Junior, just smacking cups over, smacking people in the mouth. I'm like, bro, we need him. Protect him. He's gonna be it. They know it though, but we need more like that. I need
Kinda,
more him.
yeah. I mean,
I need
I can
more
definitely
him.
see. He's big. He's not small.
Yeah.
But he's not like '80s big, but he's not on the steroids like the
No.
'80s wrestlers. And he's not rock big because he's not black and Samoan. He ain't that big, but he
Yeah.
got size. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's athletic as I'll get out on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's charismatic. He's charismatic because he was already rich before he got there.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to do it. So you're very right, very correct about him not needing to be a professional wrestler, but him wanting to be a professional wrestler,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. But I did see this in as a person who is in the music. A lot of people said the WWE and wrestling and the WWE, not just wrestling, but WWE has definitely just went left with the people that they have for their theme songs. You remember the old theme songs of Raw and Nitro and SmackDown? It all had a little bit of rockish theme. SmackDown now has Megan the Stallion as their theme song. A lot of people say that it's just wrestling trying to sell out to cater to the masses. Do you feel
Yeah.
that that is true as well? And I'm asking you this specific thing because you are a hip hop producer, sir. So and I know you produce everything, but I know hip hop.
Yeah.
That's your biggest success has come from hip hop. So I'm asking you, do you feel that that's just a sellout of professional wrestling? Just like we got
Yeah.
to get because Travis Scott also did the theme. The theme of WrestleMania this past year was Fiend,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
obviously he was involved in this.
Yeah. Yeah. They're again. They're following the social popularity driven outcomes of what people are craving. They need that in order to survive. But again, everything that they've naturally done is what gained the audience in the first place. Why are you stepping away from what built it? It doesn't mean don't go rap. It doesn't mean don't go. We would everything within wrestling had themes. They had
That's true.
themes. The genres were open. You know what I'm saying? They were open across the board. You know what I'm saying? Like everything accommodated the individuals. You had blacks and whites and Asians and Hispanics and everybody alike watching wrestling, no matter if the theme songs were rock, alternative, orchestral, cinematic. They had all of that. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter what was going on. You had gold dust. That music was whatever it was. It was just a bunch of sparkles. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's we're losing the touch that drove people there. You can build taste buds. You don't have to simply sit there and accommodate to the popularity to gather attention. You don't need to do that. You make people like what you're building. That's what makes you unique. This is why a lot of this stuff is just sinking. You're losing touch with what makes wrestling what it is. Have the individuals have what that represents them. Have them do that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, everybody has some type of alternative hip hop type stuff going on. You got, you look at, uh, Booker T and his brother. You know what I'm saying? The music that they had coming out. You know what I'm saying? It was like this rap blend type dig. It had this little theme types in it. It it was great. I understand we're updating with the times, but that
Booker
doesn't
still
mean
has that theme now.
yeah. You don't just because it's 2025 and we're updating how sound works doesn't mean you got to play tip drill or go get a Cardi B record, and do
I would
all
like
these
to, since
things.
you brought her up, I would like to say she will be the host of SummerSlam this weekend.
Goodness gracious. I'm
Yes.
not knocking it, but I'm just saying like why? Like what is the point of that? Again, you're trying to pull in numbers. I
Sexy
get it.
Red was the host of NXT not too early
Why?
this year.
I mean, again, I'm not. And it's probably because my personal view of them. I'm not against. They've done this for decades, pulling in artists to do these things. I'm not knocking that at all.
Do you feel
But
it's the quality of our artists that they're
I
going
think
after?
I think it's the quality of artists. That's all it
Because
is. You
granted, I
you can't be kid oriented and then you go hire the artist who made a song called WAP.
yeah, I was thinking that as
I feel like the people who are on the board are just confused. They don't know whom they're hiring. It's like there's nobody sitting there be like, hey, we're catering to kids, right? We sure are. Do you know that Cardi and Megan, by the way, they both did a song together called "Wet"?
well.
It's,
Yeah.
you do know
Well,
that, right?
I think, but I think you. But there's a point where you just don't care when you have Sexy Red twerking on Shawn Michaels and he's doing the Shawn Michaels dance against her buttocks.
Yeah, but here's the hypocrisy. Why fire old girl for showing a nip on OnlyFans
There you go.
while you're bringing in? That's my point. Like, why do that and then bring in particular artists that is representing what it is that you're letting go? I get the difference based on the visual, but if you understand the background of the people of whom you're bringing on, why would you want that to represent what you got? I don't. They can talk about it, but they're not showing it. She's
That's
not
true.
talking about it, but she's showing it. This is worse than them. They're selling it. This is why they're who they are. They're selling it. They're not showing it all the way, but they're selling it. They might twerk in the two piece and the thong, but they not. They selling sex all day long.
Of
That's
course, of
all. That's
course.
all they do. But you got her in the pool taking a picture with a little nip out on the just to be a little risque. No, we gotta let her go. We got Mattel, but let's hire Cardi B and Sexy Red to come here and yeah,
W-
they
We're
confuse
not
both.
making action figures of Cardi B and Sexy Red. She's not getting a toy made by Mattel with the WWE brand on it. I think
It's crazy.
that's the difference. Travis Scott
It's
was gonna get a
crazy.
toy made of him
Mm,
and with the
yeah.
brand.
Oh yeah, I get it. It's all because of whom they're affiliated with at this point. That's all it is. Like I said before, we came up and when the pay per views came on, the pay per views are all uncut.
Yeah.
Every pay per view had at least one or two boobs in it.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but when we were children, when we would go to wrestling, Triple H would come out and be like, "Take your shirt off," and then and the
And
chicks
then
would take their tit off,
up
then
and
show the
yeah,
breast.
yeah.
They
But
take the
now,
top off and show it.
they're not with it no more. The people came in and was like, "Nah, we're not doing this no more. The Me Too movement is going on.
Oh yeah.
Feminism and being a feminist is on the rise. We got to cut this out. The HR
No,
is going to get us."
no,
So
no,
no,
no random tops off by
no.
audience members. So I definitely see why you might not want to jump back into the WWE itself. But like I said, AEW it's privately owned by Tony Khan. I don't think he wants to see boobies, but he does want to see blood. Uh, you know, and cursing. There was definitely some things. The F word gets dropped on TNT quite often. Sometimes they catch it, sometimes they don't.
Yeah,
But there are alternatives of professional wrestling. There's an alternative to the WWE, and I think that's the deal. TNA, who's now working with the WWE, they have started doing a lot more things. They actually sold out um, their biggest gate of North America last week on this past Sunday with over 7,000 seats sold, which they've
Mm.
never sold that much on North American soil. They've done better in Europe because Europe people Europeans are hungry for wrestling. They don't know they don't get it like it.
Yeah, yeah.
But they have their own wrestling, but there's a difference between an indie promotion than a big promotion. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
get that. So financially, wrestling is booming, but I feel, and I don't know, you might not agree with me, but I feel like there's just some fans that are just like, "Hey, wrestling ain't gonna be what it used to be," and I don't want to tarnish the memory of professional wrestling, so I'm not going to go back and watch it again. Is that how you feel?
No, no, I don't feel that way. I feel like there's always going to be a moment where I want to pop up. I'm a fan of wrestling in general. Um, Me not watching does not take away from being a fan. It's just more so of there's just that nostalgia based on what represented wrestling, what it was built on. I just feel like that foundation isn't as prevalent as it used to be, which the things we just discussed obviously is not there. Again, a lot of it has been dumbed down for our children, despite the fact again that majority of the fan base is people like us. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? So I think they're just being cautious and careful because of the corporate involvement has have them do that. That's mainly what that is. You know, it's diminished. You know, the authenticity of what wrestling is, what it came from. That's that raw, uncut. I'm working hard to get here, no matter how it was scripted. It was just, we'll never have another uh, Chris Benoit or Eddie Gordo or Goro, or we won't have that no more. These were some raw, uncut folks. Just the treachery and the deceit, the betrayal, all these things that we got in wrestling was so wonderful. The times we didn't know what was going to happen, we was like, "Oh my god!" Steen coming in like the Crow, like all these things was just dude disappeared for a grip. You know what I'm saying? Got a whole new move set. You know what I'm saying?
that's
We
true.
ain't we ain't splashing no more. I'm about to bend your neck back and drop you right in the back of your neck. You know what
Scorpion
I'm
Death
saying?
Drop
Death drop.
became
You know
his
what I'm saying?
move.
Like, come on, man. Like, I just feel like a lot of this stuff is just missing. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of the authenticity of this creativity, and now they're more so just appeasing to the audience, and they're making the wrestlers appease to the fan base in order for the whole corporation to be successful. So that allows the wrestler not be an authentic version of themselves. It's like they go to work and they put on this mascot uniform. It might not be fully who they are. It's like, let's alter this a little bit. Let's have you do that. Nobody's pulling you back and being like, "Hey, do this, do that, try this out. We want to bring in these uncut versions of this." I mean, I'll never forget the conversation about when The Rock had with Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon was giving him some pointers on like what to do. He went in there demanding some money and what he wanted, and Vince is like, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to do this, this, and this, and I want you to study this and come back." Rock came back as a full businessman slash wrestler, and it won. He's it. Rock is
Yeah.
number one over anybody. I don't care who the wrestler. That's my point. Why isn't there a wrestler right now with how long the Rock has been on the hiatus has been able to take his seat? He ain't even in wrestling. He's number one.
That's true.
Nobody's the Rock, bro. Nobody. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Nobody.
not arguing with you on that. Nobody. I mean,
No,
he's the Rock.
nobody
I
has
mean,
came in.
Rock
Let's go
Austin.
Rock Austin.
Or maybe Ric
Hogan,
Flair. But
maybe
I say Hogan Rock Austin. This
that's
is the only
going to be the
only
top three
name
because
three wrestlers. Hogan Rock Austin.
they are the pinnacle of what wrestling grew and developed and evolved from. I mean, they had everything based after them. I mean, from the shows to the era, the whole is after them three. I mean, you don't have that attitude no more. That's not here. It's in the script now. Their people aren't naturally like this. They're not showing it. The grit ain't there, man. It's just not there. They not just beating motherfuckers up and throwing referees out the ring, man, and stomping people to pieces in the ring and just,
Oh, yeah.
we nobody ain't sucking it no more, man. We can't even say that no more. Like
You can't
you get banned.
you can't say sucker you and let
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. Let
the
the
audience
crowd.
say
That's
suck.
bad. That's bad. That's bad, bro. We everything is just it's been sensitized. We can't play no more.
And
Oh
you also
yeah.
I
I
don't know if you
mean,
got
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I like Roman. I'm a Roman fan. I think
he will be
but
playing
again,
Akuma. I know you know who Akuma is because Street
man, look,
Fighter.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't definitely want to talk about it no more. Like I'm not like yeah, I'm not again.
50 Cent is Balrog.
See,
That hurt me more
yeah.
than anything
I
else because
mean,
Mike
I
Tyson's
mean,
alive.
which is wild. I mean, it's the whole thing is just that's a whole other conversation.
Yes, sir. I
but
know it is.
yeah. I mean, but like we said earlier, like they're very culturally inappropriate. I mean, I swear, I just seen that the other day. Oh, I don't know, was it Fatu? Who was it? Who was somebody was showing their J's. They were showing their Jordans, and it
Okay.
because he has I don't know what it was just, but they was I can't remember which one of the cousins it was, but it was showing he was showing his Jordans, and I'm like, why is this man got on Jordans? But
Yep.
it was just so culturally out of pocket for me.
So
Yeah, yeah,
that's fine. John
yep,
Simone,
yeah. I seen that.
because he didn't understand.
Yeah,
He's a you wear a suit, you get loafers.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, some people do. It depends on how you wear your suit. It depends,
That's
especially if it's
true.
fitted. You can wear your J's. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. That's funny. That's funny. I
You
mean,
can
like
pay.
Roman Reigns would probably be if it would be a wrestler today who would probably be like my top guy would be Roman next to Logan.
Same here.
But again, but see where he came from though. I mean, you talking
Yeah.
about the whole Peter
Samoan
Maivia
dynasty.
line, yeah, the whole you got we talking about Rikishi's kids and the Roman's their uncle and you know what I'm saying? Like you got the whole lineage of that with them. I mean, that's dope. But I can see where it comes from. The attitude, the charisma. They got a blueprint. They got a strong blueprint. You know what I'm saying? But every wrestler isn't like it, which I don't think every wrestler. You need every dynamic. It's like seasoning. You got to have your salt, your pepper, your onion powder, your garlic, your paprika, your cayenne. Everything has got to be different to complement something else. I just think that it's just pre-made and packaged, and it's not good
Too
burger.
commercial.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah. They need to have
And
it's
I'm
the
just
story.
asking
He always like
when
his
he
yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Randy.
He's not even the same
So
size he was. So he's
no,
completely he
he's lost a human.
he shrunk on purpose.
If
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's going more movies anyway, so I get it. Him and The
yeah,
Rock both were shrinking on purpose. You can't get
say the
more
Rock
roles.
play.
You get more roles when
Yeah,
you're smaller. Yeah, like he looks amazing though. Like I ain't gonna front. Like
yeah,
he looks phenomenal. You know what I'm
but
saying?
not
But I
like
mean,
Batista. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he
not
was
the
an
animal
animal.
Batista.
Yeah, I mean, my gosh, he was ridiculous. He was big as gosh, he was big as hell. You know what I'm saying? But so to answer the question,
Mm-hmm.
simple answer. Enhance the stories,
Okay,
diversify the content. Simple as
got
that.
you.
Diversify the content because they don't need to stop it, but the family friendly content is killing it. That's start embracing more mature topics and storylines. You know, have some adult oriented segments. You can't have the adults in the audience that are there with other adults, and because of the marketing value that children have on the hero complex, because every
Mm-hmm.
kid loves Superman, every
That's true.
kid loves Batman, until they watch Injustice. and then their parents like cut this off because it's not meant for kids. So we have to keep this persona that this dude in this blue costume and this red cape is solely, hi kids, until they make Injustice, which is rated R, and then the family is so oblivious to the comics, they just focus on the character. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. We're not resonating these storylines to create the broader audience. We're only focusing on a particular audience, and they're doing that with everybody. On top of that, make the stories make them more meaningful. We don't have any meaningful stories. Before I found out that the Montreal screw job was real, that was a
Yeah.
I thought that was everybody was like, hold on, bro. And then we see the back behind the scenes. I'm like, he's about to whoop this. I'm thinking this is all fake. I'm calling you up, like, hey man,
Yeah.
he's about to beat him up. You know what I'm saying? And we both were like, later on, it was like, oh, this is real. This ain't on the script, but they kept it there because they knew the impact that would have. And they understood that sold because that looked like what an other story would look like. We're talking about 1 year later, after WrestleMania 12 is when the screw job happened. A year later, the whole rematch. Yeah, bro, you up here in Canada and you gonna do this man like that on Canada? It was bad. We all was like, what? We didn't know what to do with that. So yeah, they need to incorporate everybody. The parents invest in their children for the children related content. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But we gotta quit acting as if the kids ain't gonna grow the fuck up and as if we can't sit here and have particular things for these children to watch. We can sit here and do certain things. Yes, we're going to have the little girl. You got to make it make sense. If at the time frame the kids were there too, while the raw content was still going on, this didn't eliminate anything.
That's true.
You have Bret Hart giving his glasses to little girls in the audience. Obviously, there was nothing going on at that time. Wrestling grew even more and more and more because people were able to interact with the superstars. So now I was like, okay, what do we do to bring this back in a manner to which this is healthy for everybody and can work, but everybody's culturally afraid because of these movements. You're too powerful to be shut down anyway. I don't think that's going to
That's true.
happen to you. I don't think none of that's going to happen. If WWE ended, wrestling's over with. I'm not knocking the independent ones, but they don't have enough to survive like the WWE. So the WWE should be able, within their corporate backing, to do what they want and just do a shift. You ain't got to go full flown out. You ain't got to do everything, but you need to make things more diverse for the mature audience. You can't keep saying this is for kids while you were still using profanity. You're doing everything that's not even related to kids, man. You're fighting each other. This is not kid oriented.
Very true.
Everything you're doing is you got people are bleeding. This isn't for kids. This isn't Y7. This is like teenage and up. Everything in wrestling is like 100% that way. This isn't G rated. This isn't really PG. This is PG-13 to the core. So we need to quit pretending. They need to quit pretending as if they're going to lose from the masses if they choose to adapt and incorporate more mature, diverse content. That's what it grew on. Stop playing. It doesn't make any sense. You got to cut this out. So yeah, for me to come back, build the stories, make the stories more meaningful, do things that's going to have an impact on people. You know what I'm saying? Make the stuff, the heartfelt stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Hogan came, everybody was excited when he came back, you know, until they did this. And then we're all like, man, forget this mother. we knocking stuff for everybody was but that was what they wanted. That was dope. The crowd went nuts. He's doing his thing. Everybody's excited, and he's standing in the ring looking at everybody. They looking at him. They think he's about to do whatever, and you and me, both sitting there like, nah, he's about to, he's about to join, dog. And lo and behold, my man sitting there, boo, boo. That's how you heard. That's what we missing. We missing the meaningful stuff. We need the meaningful stuff. We need the stories that last for years and months, and how it changes. They're not doing that no more. We don't have that. We don't have that. It takes you have to call the Rock to come back for stuff to explode. You shouldn't have to do that. There's no reason why The Rock and Cena still got rematches and fights and stuff to make everybody go crazy. Like, bro, don't stop it.
And they also
Stop.
they
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
F
yeah.
this, F that. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
on this.
yeah. They just don't got the attitude no more, man. We don't. We need the adult oriented segments and storylines back that resonates for the broader audiences. Once we have that, I'm telling you, I'm gonna set a timer and an alarm, and I will be watching it again without a doubt. Listen, y'all can find me on Instagram at the Third Music. That's TheIIRD Music on Instagram. Come follow me. Come holler at me. I'm all for the talks, man. I thank my brother, man, Alex, for inviting me on and topping it up. But yeah, let's go.